Alright guys, today it's been a hot minute since I've done an official EDC update, but I figured since it's the holiday season, since it's been a long time since I've really done one, I figured it's going to be fun to kind of break down, kind of see what the EDC looks like. Now, of course, there's always going to be multiple variations on things, whether that be guns, knives, and stuff like that in general. There's going to be a few different flavors of stuff, but by and large, this is going to be the comprehensive, essentially, EDC Essentials for me going into the holiday season. And I think EDC is really important. I've always tried to hammer this one in, especially whether it's, you know, from a survivalistic standpoint, whether it's from an enthusiast standpoint. I think it's fun to have specialized kind of pieces of kit that help you increase your ability to function through day-to-day tasks, and also to, once again, whether you find yourself in a survival, self-defense type situation, it is important to have some of these tools and pieces of kit for those specialized situations. Hopefully you never need anything like this, but if you do, it's important to have it. So anyways, guys, without any further ado, let's jump into the close, hands-on, up close and personal EDC stuff that I carry, my EDC Essentials for holiday season of 2024. Alright guys, so let's start off with the first piece of kit that is not super exciting, but this is the Open Seas leather. I'm trying to remember what this one's exactly called, but this is their, I believe, top sider, because it opens from the top, and this one's their quick draw. So you can have things kind of tucked in the back here. This is usually where I leave IDs so that I can easily withdraw them if I need to show ID for whatever reason. So this is the Open Seas leather wallet, a really beautiful thing. I have used Open Sea leather wallets for, gosh, years now, and I think they're some of the best wallets out there. Truly immaculately made. These are made out of Horween leather, and they not only smell great and amazing, but they just break in and wear like iron. So these things are really well crafted, and the thing that I love the most about them is that you can just see that overall these leather wallets, they're just made very simply, and this isn't an endorsement or like a paid promotion per se. I just genuinely like these things, right? So these, I'm not getting paid to say anything about these wallets. Wish I was, but yeah, they're just really well made, and you can carry cash, you can carry a bunch of things. The topsider is my favorite if you guys do want to actually try these. Once again, I don't have any promos or promo codes or anything like that for Open Seas, but genuinely they are really great leather wallets. So hopefully you guys can see beautiful leather wallets. You can get them in a number of different stitch colors and different leather colors, but they're always super high quality and they wear like iron. So really do love these wallets. All right, now let's jump into something a little bit more exciting, at least for most of my audience, and that is going to be the knife. So this is a MX200 by Emerson. Now, you guys probably know I've kind of purged a lot of my knives, so I don't have a ton of knives anymore, but this one is a recent addition. I kind of figured I would throw a newer knife to kind of spice things up, and this is one that I've actually played with before from a friend and really did enjoy. And granted, it's a little eccentric looking. This is, like I said, the MX200, so essentially this is a kind of folding kukri, and I know that that idea is far from new. There's been a whole bunch of mini kukris, folding kukris and such, but this one's just really well made. It's made by Emerson, and I've been on for a while, Emerson kick, and so generally what I've actually had in my pocket is a Commander, and I love the Commander, but this one is also very nice. So this is an MX200, of course, as it says, Lucas Emerson. That is Ernie Emerson's son, and he is also in the knife making business, surprise, surprise, but this is one of his designs, and so really well made. These guys are, of course, like many Emersons, tricky to track down and kind of expensive, just a niche knife, but very cool, kind of, like I said, folding kukri vibe that you have with the blade shape there, very aggressive, and yeah, so this one's a little bit of a new addition, and it's kind of cool to see that Emerson has fallen into the ball bearing knife kind of gimmick, if you will, but it is pretty cool, super smooth, very drop shot. If you can get past the detent there, it is very smooth. So very well made overall for Emerson, and kind of a just different vibe in total. But yes, very well made, very nice knife, and yeah, just cool, very different, very unique, and still very useful. So very pocket friendly, I will say too, for what it is. So pretty cool knife. I will not drag on too much further. I will say, as I previously mentioned, with this knife in mind, that the other knife that I do tend to keep in my pocket is the Emerson Commander. So yeah, the Commander is very similar to this. It is just more of a straight up recurve as opposed to this kind of kukri, but a very lovely knife as well. So that is the Emerson MX 200 for the blade. All right, no surprises here. The flashlight is the Phoenix LD30. So hopefully it focuses well and fast enough. This is just a super compact, pretty darn bright flashlight. I really have no complaints. Maybe I need to update my flashlight game, but this thing just seems to work really well. Super bright, super easy to use, and just has a ton of mileage on it, but it just works very, very well. So this is, like I said, the LD30, the Phoenix, and I think Phoenix is kind of one of those brands that's just slept on, but works very well for what it is. So yeah, no complaints there. I've had this thing for, gosh, 3 or 4 years now. As you can see, there's just a little bit of carry wear on it, and it just works really well. All right, let's jump into something else that is cool and exciting, and this is my primary handgun. So this right here is of course, appendix inside the waistband holster for the main carry gun, and you guys can probably tell here that it is rocking a weapon-mounted light. So this is actually a holster I got off of, I believe, Etsy, because this is a SIG Emperor Scorpion 1911, and these Emperor Scorpions, as I mentioned in other videos, they have a broader kind of shoulder here, so you do have to get specific holsters for these handguns. But this is a very classy handgun, kind of heavy too, not gonna lie, but a classic government-sized 1911, and yeah, chambered in 45 ACP. It is just overall a really fantastic handgun. And of course, like I said, this one's the Emperor Scorpion, so it is in that lovely FDE in black. So overall, a very, very beautiful handgun, and yeah, just a fantastic piece. Really do love it. Of course, empty chamber there, fantastic trigger pull on this one, and just a lovely gun. So yeah, this one, of course, as noted earlier, is wearing a weapon mounted light. This is a TLR 1HL, so it's 1000 lumen weapon mounted light, and it works very well with this handgun as a package. So pretty cool. Of course, this is going to be an 8+1, so 8 rounds of 45 ACP plus 1 in the chamber is going to be a total of 945 rounds. So nothing too crazy, nothing too special, but I really do like it. And of course, there are other handguns that I do rock. This just so happens to be one that, as I keep accidentally hitting the flashlight, just happens to be one that I really do enjoy running. It's kind of on the bougier side, and I feel like that fits for the holidays. I feel like I try to be a little bit more bougie for the holidays. So this is the Emperor Scorpion by Sig Sauer, and yeah, it's just a cool gun, and definitely happy to have the holster that supports not only the gun, but the weapon mounted light. And so overall, like I said, a pretty cool setup, a pretty cool rig. And I like the fact that it is has a weapon mounted light, because of course it is getting dark now that it is winter. Okay, next two are going to be, once again, not necessarily the coolest things, but we have a Smooth Precision pens. This is, I believe, their V2. Of course, this is a company that is no longer around, so this is kind of an odd or rare bird, but this is their titanium pen. It is a fantastic writing instrument. Absolutely love it. It is truly smooth, and yeah, it gets the job done. It is a titanium pen, so not necessarily the most remarkable writing instrument out there, but not the worst. And of course, made in Texas, or was made in Texas. Of course, Smooth Precision Pens is no longer in business, so it is kind of a rare bird in that regard. Next up, of course, we have the classic, the Zippo, just in satin. Once again, similar to the LD30. I've had this for ages. I've had this thing for, gosh, over a decade now, because this thing was made in 2012. if this will ever focus. So yeah, made in 2012, and yeah, it's an old bird, so it is pretty ancient at this point, kind of feels like. All right, now let's talk about some other cool stuff. We have the multi-tool. Now, honestly, the Leatherman Arc is my multi-tool, EDC multi-tool of choice, but I do also have my Leatherman Charge Plus as well. So the Arc is not necessarily the best, not the most amazing, but I do have it. I do enjoy using it. And while I wouldn't necessarily recommend, you know, like going out and purchasing one of these per se, I wouldn't say this is the best multi-tool that money can buy. It just so happens to be the multi-tool that I own. I bought it, you know, back when it first released, when it was hyped, and, you know, wanted to try it out, see what it was about. So I'm not saying that this is like the multi-tool to buy. I wouldn't personally recommend it, but it's not a bad multi-tool. And once again, because I own it, it is, it's multi-tool, gets used, it is totally fantastic and fine. So this is, like I said, the Leatherman Arc, and I would probably recommend something like the Wave or the Charge Plus over the Arc personally, especially if you're gonna be spending Arc money. I'd personally go with the Charge Plus. I do have one, I've carried it for years, but yeah. All right, guys, just about to round out this whole setup and situation, and coming to a close, we have the little Beretta Bobcat. Now this guy is in 22 LR, as you guys can see there, and this is of course the model 21A. Of course, it is clear in the chamber. I still do have the loaded magazine here, but this is going to be the backup gun, and honestly, the reason why I throw these two, my main handgun and this one, into the same kind of EDC. I don't typically carry them together. Some people do truly say, you know, like, oh yeah, I run my backup handgun and my handgun. But for me, this is a kind of like take out the garbage, kind of a, you know, just doing light things around the house where, you know, you have to go outside, but you don't really want to commit to throwing on a full, you know, like 2-pound handgun. This is something you can just slip in a pocket of your pajamas or of your, you know, sweatpants, something like that. You can just slip it in the pocket. You make sure you have a round in the chamber, and, you know, slip this in the pocket, walk out, do what you gotta do. You know, you want to walk your dog or something like that. This is obviously not the best, you know, first line of defense per se, but it's one of those things where it's kind of like a survival idea where, you know, it's having something is better than having nothing. And while arguably this is not what I would say like a go to war kind of gun for sure, but this is just something you can slip into a pocket, walk outside, take out your trash, walk your dog, do something like that. And if something gives you problems, you know, you have at least something to defend yourself with. And yeah, I've been running CCI Stingers out of mine because it seems to either Federal Punch or CCI Stingers seem to be what this gun prefers to eat the most. And so, yeah, that's what I would recommend is CCI Stingers or Federal Punch. Something that's just a very high velocity 22 round is what you're going to want to run out of these. But yeah, super compact. As I've shown in other videos, I did paint the front sight orange, and you guys can see there, hopefully, that it is super high vis. So once again, it's not necessarily going to be the most functional in the dark. And once again, these guns are, as people say, you know, pocket guns, mouse guns, belly guns. This is not the type of gun that you're going to be shooting at 100 yards. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. But I will say, if you do have some masking tape and you have some orange, you know, nail polish, that's all I used for mine. Just threw some masking tape on there, threw some orange nail polish on there, and it gives you a much higher visibility sight. So would recommend doing that if you do have one of these. And then typically too, I usually just throw it in this little DeSantis slip here, and all this does is just give you some extra traction. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty easy, but yeah, that's the package. All right, guys, last but not least, we have the phone, and this is just an Apple iPhone 13 Pro Max here, as you guys can see. And yeah, nothing fancy, nothing crazy, nothing special, but just a nice overall performing phone. So that's that. And of course, I got the Apple Watch Pro Max, the original Pro Max, on here. And so yeah, nothing crazy there, but that's kind of rounding out the tech portion of the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this nice Christmas EDC update, and hopefully there's been some fun surprises on here for guns, for knives, and hopefully you guys continue to enjoy the content, enjoy watching the channel, and yeah, let me know what you guys want to see in the future and in the new year. As always, guys, God bless, and I'm out.